And looking at potential outcomes in this race again, I mean, the Kusko boys. Pete Kaiser pulled out when we did the Go Trail Loop, which is a belt and back race, sort of a stupid design race. And but I think him and Richie Diehl, Pete Kaiser and Richie Diehl, the Kusko boys, are pretty predictable in terms of being able to finish this thing competitively. And that's going to be tough with these other monsters. When I look at Ryan, I can see potential problems, meltdowns happening in the future. Same with Nick and same with Jesse Holmes, just based on Jesse's stopping in Caltag and Jesse stopping on the river. Jesse's had some strong finishes, and I did around more so in terms of the standings. He was third last year, then Ryan Reddington, then Nick Petit in the recent years. However, still, I just feel like the predictability, if we're looking at this race in a betting sense, and that doesn't mean that those guys are going to get there faster, but I mean, the potential for things to go wrong with those other three, Ryan, Nick, and Jesse, I feel like is greater. I feel like there's more of a reliability with Pete Kaiser's outcome and Richie Deal's outcome, being able to just dependently get there to know with their dog team competitively in one piece, and that's going to be they're just going to keep methodically moving down the trail. In other words, and that might be a real challenge for those other guys to be able to keep up with that over the next 3-4, on the Bering Sea coast and on the Portage as well, if those other guys are just more consistent. Now, I think with that said, like you said, Ryan Reddington and I think Nick Petit and Jesse Holmes might be posting a slightly faster travel time. It's tough with Jesse to estimate that because he's been resting on the trail, and I don't have the tracker with the insider, so I'm not sure in terms of the actual raw data to make a accurate analysis on that. But looking at those earlier parts of the race, it's anyone's race. It's what we're at. We're at again here. We can't really predict it, but I think Pete and Richie might be able to get it out. If these other guys just want to hang with Richie and Pete, or they try to outrace some of the faster dog team at the end, that might work to their favor more so than trying to establish a lead at the coast, establish a lead at Unit or trying to beat those guys to, Shaktoolik, or beat those guys to even White Mountain. If they're maybe to Koyak and Elam, if they're trying to beat them to White Mountain from Elam, that's a very plausible, reasonable scenario. Or if they're just trying to beat them from White Mountain to Nome, that's another plausible, reasonable scenario. But it might be a problem for those guys, and I think they're even seeing that if they try to beat them, to Unit or to Shaktoolik or to Koyak.